Let's hear from you, sir. You heard what our correspondent who is on the ground said. She talked about, attacks on polling staff, theft of marked ballot boxes, and the suspension of the election. Now it has been lifted. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
Yes, the decision to suspend the counting of ballots and announcement of results at polling station, which is a constitutional requirement, it came as a surprise, and it is the first time in the history of Zambia that such a thing was done by the Electoral Commission. So after that announcement, there were a lot of stakeholders, many stakeholders that expressed satisfaction with the decision, especially that the security of the materials was a bit was going to be compromised if people were made to leave the polling station. So they appealed to the Electoral Commission that if they had to suspend, they should only suspend the counting and the tabulation from only the affected polling station and not the whole country, because the whole country meant that people would be in the dark for a very long time. Fortunately, the ECZ decided that they should lift the suspension, and they say that the threat which was there, the security threat, has been averted, and that they are able to there's sufficient security now for the materials, and the counting can continue. But it was important that they also specify which parts or which polling stations had experienced this problem, so that at least people would know exactly where these trouble spots were.
Okay.
But all the same, I think stakeholders are satisfied that it has been lifted.
Okay, so and the breakdown of law and order everything is calm at the moment?
Yes, everything's calm. There were a few cases in the central business district of Lusaka where there were some kind of riots, but they are not very widespread, and they are contained in a very short time. So that's, apart from that, no violence has been reported.
Okay.
We are hoping that they will recover the ballot papers which were stolen, because we understand the people involved are known. So I think the law enforcement officers will be given the footage, because people were getting photographs of those who came into the polling stations and went away with ballot papers. But what is surprising is that security was there. The police was there when that was happening. So we don't really know how that could have happened with the presence of the security forces.
Oh, okay, but then how tightly contested was this particular election? Because we know that Brian Mundubile, mobilized significant backing from loyalists of the late president, Edgar Lungu, framing this election as a second independence.
Yes, I think it's tightly, closely contested, in the sense that Brian Mundubile is riding on 6 provinces which were traditionally Patriotic Front strongholds. These are Eastern Province, Muchinga, Luapula, Northern, Copperbelt, and Lusaka. So in these 6 provinces, he's doing very well. And I think this is what has made his team think that, or project that they are likely to win this election.
All right. Now, we also saw, strong youth turnout, at places like the University of Zambia, where students praised Hichilema for restoring meal allowances. So how would you say, how decisive, is the youth vote in a nation of 22 million? And can targeted social restore, offset broader youth unemployment?
No, I think it definitely will have an effect. But, students are just a fraction of the youth in the country. So I'm sure that President Hichilema will benefit from the higher education vote. Most of these students at universities and colleges are likely to vote for him. But the general youth population, which is impacted by unemployment and so forth, is not likely to vote for him. So really, the action of the University of Zambia or University students who definitely voted in big mass, because the polling stations at the university actually gave the president a very good, a very big vote. May not be representative of the youth as a whole. So I think there's much more to understand about the youth vote here in Lusaka and the Copper Belt, where Mundubile is scoring very, very high votes.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about, international election observers from the AU, the SADC, and also the Commonwealth that noted orderly voting on Thursday morning before the shutdown. So is it possible, or can the international monitoring bodies step up? Do they have the right to actually step up to mediate if an Electoral Commission fails to resume counting after, its 24-hour assessment?
Yes, I think we would like to believe that they did actually engage the Electoral Commission when they made this assessment. Most likely, a number of them engaged the Electoral Commission to persuade them to allow the voting to continue, so as to de-escalate the conflict which was there, because the opposition was now planning to get their supporters to go to polling stations and surround polling stations to protect the vote, in the fear that the ballots may be swapped in the night. So I think the prospect of large numbers of opposition supporters going to polling stations, I think, may have persuaded the Electoral Commission to lift the suspension. But also, I think the idea of suspending counting and the announcement of results raises suspicion. So again, that is not a good thing, because then it affects the integrity of the election itself, or the election results. So I think there was definitely some intervention, not only from stakeholders such as the Law Association of Zambia and political parties, but also from the international observer groups who are likely to have engaged the Electoral Commission to reconsider its decision.
Okay, so in just 1 minute before we wrap up, in Lusaka and the Copper Belt, calm on the streets contrasts sharply with aggressive narratives spreading online regarding stolen ballots. So how vulnerable is Zambia to sudden civil unrest if partial results begin trickling out unevenly across regions?
So far, it looks like both the main parties, the ruling United Party of National Development, UPND, and the opposition, so far they appear to actually have, representatives at every polling station, because they both have claimed that they actually have the results from polling stations. What they don't have are results that aggregate the polling station to get together. So they do have that. And that's why there are claims from both the ruling party and the opposition that both have won. Both have that information. So what I think will trigger violence or disputes is when the final results, will be fundamentally different from the results announced at polling stations. That may trigger that. But otherwise, Zambia is generally a peaceful country, and I don't think there will be serious problems as long as the Electoral Commission acts professionally and ensures that they are transparent and there are no suspicions that the elections or electoral results have been manipulated in any way.
Okay.
Otherwise, they will be accepted.
I agree with you on that. But thank you so much, Dr. Neo Simutanyi, political analyst in Lusaka, Zambia. We appreciate you for your time. Yeah. And we will keep following up, on, the tallying of the results. And let's see who, gets to be next president of Zambia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir.